Mr. Kazmark, would you call the meeting to order?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park for March 18th, 2010 to order. On roll call, Council Members Catamagna is absent due to a family commitment. Council Members Castiglia.
Here.
Chowinski. Here. Monsino.
Here.
Work. Here. Conboy.
Here.
Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have
Will
a
everyone
quorum.
please rise for our prayer and flag salute? Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting in which we entrust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and plant them in a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so peace and happiness can come to you and peace and happiness to our community also. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Law State of New Jersey requires the commencement of each meeting as stated by the presiding officer, they are now for be advised that these requirements of this meeting have been met by posting an annual notice in the Record of Hackensack and the Herald News of Woodland Park and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within the municipal building by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is being televised on Channel 77 cable. The dates that you can see this meeting are Wednesday at 2 p.m., Thursday at 1 p.m., and Friday at 11 a.m. Or you can handle our website at www.elmwoodparknj.us.
Mayor, to begin tonight's meeting, we have the approval of minutes of the regular meeting of March the 4th, 2010, and the executive session of March the 4th, 2010.
Motion, please, for both.
So moved.
Mr. Boncino, Mr. Castiglia, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Council Members Castiglia.
Yes.
Chowinski.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work. Yes. Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, tonight under ordinances, we have ordinance 10-07 on first reading, resolution 83-10. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled A Bond Ordinance to authorize the improvement of Molnar Drive from the Saddlebrook border to past East 54th Street, in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $290,000 to pay for the cost thereof, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on the first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, April 1st, 2010 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Work. Discussion? This is a bond ordinance that comes from the State Department of Transportation. It will allow us to repave Molnar Drive at the expense of the state. It's an application we put in, and we're switching it over to that area. We will come back to the boulevard next year and finish up a portion there, which is not in bad condition at this point. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Castiglia.
Yes.
Chowinski.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work. Yes. Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 84-10, introduce ordinance 10-06 on second reading. Whereas public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend the code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, therefore entitled subdivision, to change the definition of a minor subdivision. Whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, March 4th, 2010, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting. And whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given the opportunity to be heard concerning same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend the code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, therefore entitled subdivision, to change the definition of a minor subdivision, pass on final reading. Mayor, we'll need to open up this
May I
ordinance
have
to
a
the
motion to
public.
open up to the public?
So moved.
Mr. Boncino?
Second.
Mr. Conboy, any discussion? All in favor? Is there anyone who wishes to be heard on this ordinance? If not, I'll close the public portion of the meeting. May I have a motion on the ordinance, please?
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Chowinski, any discussion?
Yes, Mayor. If I may, I see some people here from the audience that were previously affected by this ordinance, this minor subdivision ordinance, and I think it's a great change. And the only thing we're really changing here is the square foot number, which most towns do not have. And I did appreciate the comments from the planning board on their review finally, although some of them did not pertain. But I look forward to passing this ordinance, gentlemen.
Any other comments?
Could I make a little discussion on it also?
Sure.
Like Richie said, we've been going around and around on this for a long time, and the main thing with the ordinance, getting through all the BS and everything, is right down to the 15,000 square feet. Now, that was put in probably around 22 years ago. I guess the planning board had asked the council for it, and it was passed for numerous reasons. Now, that would be the big difference in the ordinance. There's a lot of technicalities that are put in and taken out and changed, but that would be the big thing, and that's the one thing that really bothers me, because it's an ordinance which would change a subdivision involving at least 15,000 square feet, which is now has to be looked at as a major subdivision. That'll be changed to automatically a minor subdivision. Now, in some cases, the way I understand it, people subdividing a piece of property which is 15,000 square feet or more, depending on if they have variances or not, might not even have to notify the residents through notification in the mail, the 200 square feet around their property. That's to tell them what they're planning to do.
Well, are you...
Isn't that right, though?
What's the criteria for minor subdivision? Do they have to notify for a minor subdivision under our... You're on the planning board for how long?
No.
Okay, so if under a minor subdivision...
That's what I'm saying, all right.
On the planning board...
Let's not have another, let
All right.
him finish.
It's 15...
Somebody asked me a question, may I figure the answer?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
All right. Now, since the new ordinance was introduced, I tried to think about how many people it would be affecting in town. Yeah, I know certain people have 15,000 square feet, and if they have to move a lot line or subdivide the property, it runs into more expense for them because we call it a major subdivision. Now, changing it to a minor, like I said, I think maybe 1% of the people in town would benefit from an ordinance like this. 99% of the people could prove to be unsatisfactory to them, depending on what the property finally winds up to be. I don't think it's a good move. I think that the community is in a position now where we should be strengthening our building ordinances, not weakening them. I've been on the planning board for a long time. I guess that's why I feel so strongly about it. Now, there are people that come into the planning board with simple things, and we try to get them through as quickly as possible. This, I think, goes further than that. It's not just a point of 15,000 square feet, taking that out. I think it goes further than that. It's the whole general scheme that we have in town. Like I said, we're at a point of being overdeveloped. In 1986, when I got on the planning board, they said we were 98% developed. I don't think that's gone down since then. So for us to be weakening building ordinances instead of strengthening them kind of worries me. Now, we did submit it to the planning board, and the planning board attorney sent back his notes, what he felt was wrong, was not wrong with the ordinance, but things that could have been either put in or taken out. With all due respect to Councilman Trawinsky, he gave us about 3 pages of notes. I tried to keep up with him the night he was reading to us, but I couldn't really register the whole thing. I tried to read them over quite a few times, Rich. I really...
Well, you could have emailed me. I would have emailed them to you.
I really couldn't understand them. One thing the planning board had said, too, there was quite a few things in the ordinance that were improper. Now, like I said, you tried to correct quite a few of those things. He did mention at one point that he thought a part of it was illegal. Now, I don't know if we should be...
I think the difference, Larry, if you ever done any land use law, and I talked to one of the top 25 in the state on land use law, most of the gibberish we got from the planning board was pure gibberish just to deter that ordinance. I'm sorry. However, if that's your opinion, fine. That's fine. But if you look at 99% of the towns in New Jersey, they do not have a square foot number in there. Find me at least 10.
Right.
Okay?
All right,
We've been through this for 4 months, 5 months.
That's one. Yeah, I know.
And it's not about deterring building. If you want to deter building, gentlemen, on 50 by 100 lots or any subdividable lot, you do that in your master plan. Not at...
All right, listen, this is the same argument, that it's an ordinance in our town that isn't in other towns. Now, this is the type of ordinance that we write in our town. The state doesn't state doesn't write this ordinance for us because
No, the state
we
gives you
know
guidelines,
better
Larry.
what we need right in our town. That's why we write ordinances.
It's a layer of bureaucracy that you do not need.
It isn't a layer of...
It absolutely is.
No, it isn't.
We're at Laughingstock, Bergen County Planning Board, too. They wonder what we're doing there with all these major subdivisions.
No, I can't. All right,
I know
I
this,
don't-
Larry, I know it firsthand. If you want to walk through with me. I've
Okay,
been
any-
around this for, I
any
think,
other
over 35
comments?
years. Excuse me, man. I'm an engineer besides that.
Yeah.
I've been involved in these things for over 35 years, from Bergen County all the way down to Cape May.
All right, let me ask you one question.
Go ahead, Larry.
Right now, we're in a process of trying to change some two-family zones back into one-family zones.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
And the reason for that, of course, is overdevelopment,
Correct.
especially in those zones.
Correct.
Now, we also were thinking about changing the ordinance for putting a two-family on a piece of property where you can't put it on a 5,000 square foot property anymore.
Correct.
It's got to be 7,500.
Well,
It's got to be a 7,500.
Right.
Okay. So now, this number 15,000 also shakes me up a little bit because that's 3 lots where there could be 3 one-family homes sitting on it.
Correct.
And now, a developer or somebody could purchase those 3 homes, subdivide the property into 2 15,000 square foot lots.
What are you talking about? 15,000?
I mean, 275.
Correct. So he's eliminating, taking 3 building lots into 2.
So there is that possibility he could put up 2 two-family.
If it's zoned for it, yes, and if you want to address that, you change that at your master plan level. But what do you tell people that have a 50 by 100 legal lot? Just because it's 50 by 100 doesn't mean they can't build on it. By saying the subdivision has to be a major, that's a deterrent, Larry. You change that on the major, or you change that in your master plan. If you don't want anybody to build on a 50 by 100, make it 52 by 100. And I guarantee you're going to have 10 million residents down here screaming at you.
Like I said,
This is where we argued this in the workroom, and this is where...
we have another ordinance in town that's unique to Elmwood Park, and that's the one with Market Street and Broadway. You know, that any change of occupancy down there is going to have to come...
Oh, that's the next one I'll be working on, by the way, gentlemen.
And, well, we worked on that already. It was, the previous council changed that, and then we had to change it back. It was a disaster.
I know, but there's some
It's
things
been
that...
so many years that an ordinance is in effect.
You're talking
and there's
about
reasons for it.
continued COs and stuff, I know, but there's some things that I feel are contrary to
Well, you see-
state land use, Larry, like...
Can we go on with this or what?
Let's go on, we're right here, let's...
Well, I would suggest...
No.
Excuse me. Let Mr. Castiglia finish, then you can
Well,
respond.
maybe if there's so many things popping up, I'd like to address them as he says them, because then the people forget what we're talking about
If it's
by the time
okay-
we get to the end of it.
If it's okay with Mr. Castiglia, it's
So if
okay.
you don't want me to, fine.
No, we changed, no, you can, it's fine, Rich. You just discuss it with me. I'm
No
asking
problem.
you questions,
I
okay?
am, and
All right.
listen, I'm just telling you about, we're talking about continued COs. You want to address continued COs, like somebody goes into Lil's Delicatessen, we all know where Lil's is. Now tomorrow, the same business wants to go into that store, he has to come before us for a continued...
It's a different ordinance.
No, but that's what we're talking about, Mayor, excuse me. The continued CO, CCO. Now, most towns, you wouldn't have to do that, because if you don't want that kind of business, or you don't want to worry about the parking, you address that in your master plan. Anybody should be able to go into it. I'm going into Delicatessen, they should be able to walk right into that business without coming before the planning board.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you.
Anything else? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Castiglia,
No.
Cherwinski,
Yes.
Lonsino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Under resolutions this evening, we have Resolution 85-10, whereas NJSA 48A:4-19 provides that where contracts, commitments, or payments are to be made prior to the adoption of the 2010 budget, temporary appropriation should be made for the purposes and amounts required in the manner and time therein provided, and whereas said total appropriations of $12,538,145.44, inclusive of said resolution, and now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following amendment of the following temporary appropriations, which are in addition to the temporary budget that was adopted on January 1st, 2010, be made in certified copy of this resolution, be transmitted to the Borough Chief Financial Officer for his records.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Vocino, Mr. Conboy, discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Castiglia,
Yes.
Cherwinski,
Yes.
Lonsino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 86-10, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the Collector Treasurer be and is hereby authorized to make the following transfers as per instructions from the Chief Financial Officer as follows. From the water utility, we're taking money from Social Security in the amount of $26,279.99, and we're appropriating it to appropriation reserves in the same amount to the water operating other expenses account.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy?
Second.
Mr. Chouwinski? Discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouwinski?
Yes.
Alcino?
Yes.
Work? Yes. Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 87-2010, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following bills be approved for payment, and that after the vouchers have been signed by the necessary chairman, the Collector Treasurer shall issue warrants in payment thereof when there is sufficient funds available to meet them, as per the attached computer list in the amount in the current account of $1,790,083.31, in the trust account, $40,404.16, in the capital account, $33,864.31, in the water account, $162,543.66, and no money at this point from the water capital account.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Conboy and Castiglia, discussion? Call the roll.
Yes, Mayor, before that.
Okay.
You know, there's a few bills in here for Cablevision and separate for Verizon. Is our phone system and our cable are separate, as well as our internet? I know we've been discussing about a new phone system where it's all under one roof, but if you notice, there's a variety of Verizon bills here and 3 or 4 different cable bills.
I can't answer that question.
I'm
Keith,
just
do you
curious, because I
have any?
think we have, you know, such a...
Yeah, they are separate right now.
Thanks, Tom.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, if you look on the first page, you can see where Cablevision does provide cable service once in this building and at the 3 fire
Yes, I
companies.
see it now.
And the Verizon bills would be pertaining to Verizon phone service and Verizon wireless service, because they do provide some of our cell phones.
Good.
Cell phone.
Call the roll,
License
please.
3, 4.
On roll call, Councilmember Catamagna is absent. Councilmembers Conboy?
Yes.
Chouwinski?
Yes.
Alcino?
Yes.
Castiglia?
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 88-10, whereas it was necessary to issue certain checks to carry on the regular order of business, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the action of this Mayor, Clerk, and Treasurer in issuing the following checks be confirmed, as listed.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Boncino?
Second.
Mr. Work, discussion?
Yes,
Call-
Mayor.
I'm sorry.
County open space, ladies and gentlemen, we have to pay $65,200. This goes to the county open space fund, which we very rarely see any money from this fund. This is more of a fund, like the mayor once pointed out, for their cronies. Try and get down to the county meetings.
Mr. Chouwinski, the actual number totaled is $280,000.
This is part of it.
This is only part of it. So we spend $280,000 for open space, to pay for open space. And if we want to use some of that open space money, we have the ability to apply for open space money to fix our parks on a 50-50 basis. If we put in $50,000, they will give us $50,000. So if we're paying $280,000 for open space, and we put $50,000 in to get something back, that brings us to $320,000 to get $50,000 back for Elmwood Park. I don't know how you do the math, but that doesn't work out for us.
Just remember another thing, when you vote for open space, right away people think open space, open land, and that's what you think you're getting. But in essence, you're getting money to go to, some towns are getting AstroTurf fields, some towns are getting this. Hopefully the new freeholders, we know they're going to try and cut that down a half a penny or a penny, whatever they can.
Well-
But I know when the mayor was on the freeholder board, it was supposed to be a sunshine law and to put it to bed, but it never happened. It's still in existence.
It not only never happened, but they increased it from a half a penny to a penny. And now the county executive said that he is going to reduce it to 3/4 of a penny. And that's not going to save us any money. It'll be about the same as we paid last year because our assessment goes up.
Right.
So the amount of money we pay would be just about the same. And quite frankly, if there's a large piece of land in Bergen County that the county does want to buy because of open space, I would strongly recommend that they bond it and pay for it with a bond, which is bondable for 12 to 15 years, depending upon the length of the bond. rather than take it out and pay for it cash, when you're paying for something that big, you want to extend it over to as many years as you can, so that some people living today aren't paying the whole thing today, and God forbid they move or pass away, they don't get a benefit out of it. So I think the county does have to look that over and see what they want to do with it. Call the roll, please. Thank you, Mr. Chouinski.
On roll call on Resolution 88-10, Councilmember Catamani is absent. Councilmembers Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 89-10.
Excuse me, my monologue just now on the open space, I went through some of my files. It's the same thing I wrote in 2003 when they started to increase it, so it's still there, and they're still increasing it. I'm sorry, Mr. Kevin.
Resolution 89-10, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following payrolls be approved for payment when there are sufficient funds to meet them, and the same are hereby approved.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Castiglia, second.
Second.
That's on the bottom. Mr. Chouinski, discussion? Call the roll.
On roll call, Councilmembers Catamani is absent. Councilmember Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 90-10, whereas the Borough of Fairlawn has requested an investigation by the New Jersey Department of Transportation to revise the existing speed limit along Route New Jersey 4 Broadway in the Borough of Fairlawn, County of Bergen. And whereas the New Jersey Department of Transportation and the Bureau of Traffic Engineering and Investigations share this concern for pedestrian safety. And whereas representatives of the DOT have completed their investigation and have recommended the speed limit be reduced along Route 4 Broadway, both eastbound and westbound, to 35 miles per hour in Elmwood Park Borough, from Florence Place extending into Fairlawn through Bantha Place. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park, does hereby concur with this revised stated speed limit as stated above.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Boncino, second.
Second.
Mr. Castiglia, any discussion?
Yes, Mayor?
Yes.
If I may? I think this is part of that program that they're doing to redevelop Fairlawn. When they want to come into Elmwood Park, this fellow named Don Smart, who did the River Road project in Fairlawn, I think we should meet with this individual. I think we will soon, because we should carry the speed limit right through to the end, all the way to Patterson, this 35 mile an hour.
I think it is 35 miles an hour through the
It
boulevard.
isn't, in our part, I
Yeah.
thought it was just all the way down, it was 40. To Florence?
Yeah, it starts at Florence, and I think...
But it doesn't go all the way to past the stores there, right? But anyway, what they're doing in Fairlawn, they're going to have a redevelopment company coming in, they're going to push their stores forward, they're going to put a mom and pop store, which is what they want, apartment on top, so they can meet their Mount Laurel obligation, and they have some good ideas, and I think it's a good idea if we do look into it a little bit more. This was going on for a couple of years now.
Yeah, they come back to us every so often.
Yeah, so maybe with the council's permission, maybe I'll give them a call, or the mayor.
Yeah, let's get through the budget. And,
I'm not talking about spending money, I'm just saying, but they have ordinances in place.
no, I mean, take the time so we can get through
Oh, yeah,
it.
yeah, no, I understand. Okay.
Any other discussion? This applies, Fairlawn Mayor and Council have agreed to this also. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Catamani is absent. Councilmembers Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 91-10, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following named be and is hereby appointed as a volunteer firefighter assigned to Company 2, Chonpan of Elmwood Park, New Jersey. Be it further resolved that said appointment is subject to the usual probationary period.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Castiglia, Conboy, discussion. Call the roll.
Councilmember Catamani is absent. Councilmembers Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 92-10, be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following liquor license, having met all the requirements for renewal for the 2009-2010 license year, be and is hereby renewed. Plenary Retail Consumption License 021133024003, which is inactive, currently held by Joseph P. Langen of Wyckoff, New Jersey.
Motion, please.
So
So
moved.
moved.
And Mr.
Second?
Conboy, second.
So moved.
Mr. Chouinski, any discussion? Call the roll.
Councilmember Catamani is absent. Councilmembers Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alonsino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
And Mayor, I was contacted late this afternoon by the applicant If you'll call your attention to Resolution 93-10, we do have an application in my office that has been filed for a transfer of the Lil's Delicatessen liquor license, which is currently being held in the name of Joseph J. Newman as trustee. I have a request from the applicant's attorney, the buyer's attorney, to pull this off the agenda this evening. I'm not exactly sure why they're making that request, but I would recommend to the council that they honor that request. Let me find out what the current status is of the transaction, and then when it's necessary, we'll bring it back for the council's
I have a
consideration.
motion to pull the 9310, or 9310.
Second.
Mr. Conboy, Mr. Boncino, discussion, all in favor? Opposed, so ordered.
Mayor, under reports this evening, I have a report from the building department and from the police department.
Motion, please, to accept the reports, Building Department, Police, and the application for 50/50 at St. Leo's. Motion was made by Mr. Conboy?
Yes.
Second. And Mr. Wirt. Discussion? All in favor? Call the roll, please.
Roll call, council members Castiglia.
Yes.
Chawinski.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
And Mayor, I just have one other announcement. I had a call today from a commissioner who serves on the Elmwood Park Board of Education. It seems that the Board of Education is in the process of doing a superintendent search, and with regard to that, they have set up on their website, the Board of Education website, a link for the public to participate in an online survey with regard to that process of selecting a new superintendent. So on behalf of the Board of Education, they just asked that we make a public note and advise the residents that they can go to the school district website and participate in that survey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Committee reports, I'm requested to start at my left. Mr. Chawinski?
Sure. I attended the Joint Insurance Fund meeting Wednesday again, as usual. Everything seems to be in order. The claims are down, as a matter of fact, and I have a copy for the public. It'll be at the clerk's office if anybody wants to see the actual workings of the organization and where your money's spent on insurances. Also, I was appointed Wednesday night to the GIF's Claims Committee, which meets a half hour before to go over all the claims. Two other things, Mayor. You'll touch on the meeting with the county and the new DOT
Yes.
transportation. I attended a meeting with Mayor Mola at the county with Senator Gordon and a couple other dignitaries and our new DOT chief, where the mayor will talk about that a little later. As you know, we're working on an ordinance to increase parking fines in the borough. We've had some problems in the snowstorms, and some of the parking fines we found out were a little on the low side, and some people have been leaving their cars parked for 2-3 days, and our plows can't get through. So we're currently working on raising those fees to be more in line with the current towns, which will be a little heftier, and maybe deter people or have them move during the snow plowing time. Let's see. The fire department's going to have a hepatitis class for engine 3 on April 2nd. They're working on the 2010 grants, which just opened up. And I think that's about it, Mayor. Oh, on Route 46, I got a call from Pete Temke regarding the water problem the residents are having here that many of you people will know about, but he's in the process of setting up the meeting with the engineers and the residents.
Good. Thank you. Mr. Castiglia?
Yes, ma'am. Everybody knows the storm we had last weekend. I was out Saturday night. I was headed home, and there was a tree down on the boulevard, so I went home, I got my rain jacket, and I went back there to see what was going on. The DPW trucks were out there. They had a front loader out there. The police were directing traffic. They cleaned that one up. It was on the boulevard. They cleaned it up, and then I followed them over to Phillip Avenue, where a tree was down on a car. It was there for a while. Driving rainstorm. You couldn't even, no matter which way you turned, the rain was just beating on your face. You couldn't even see. These guys were out there. I stayed a while. They finally did tunnel out the car. They lifted the tree up with the front loader, and they cut around the car to tunnel it out and got the car out from under the tree. Then on the way, I headed home again, and there was another fire engine going down behind St. Leo's. The firemen were cutting the tree up on somebody's front porch and pulling it off. Everybody knows what it was like. I mean, I was out there about 2 or 3 hours. I just wanted to tell all those people that were out there, the DPW workers, the firemen, police, everybody in the community, I'm sure really thanks them for what they were doing. I mean, it was a driving rainstorm. It just went right through your rain jacket. I don't know how these guys lasted out there all night. And then I finally realized I didn't have to be there, so I went home. It's nice and warm. I attended a meeting with the mayor also in Hackensack Community Development last week.
Yes.
We're asking for $430,000 to complete Phase 3, the infrastructure over on Kip Ave. I don't think you really get anything all that you're asking for, but out of the 430 we were asking for, they were giving us 175. And pretty near the end of the awards, he mentioned that there was $25,000 less that wasn't awarded to anybody yet. So the mayor spoke up and started telling them about how Garfield shares that street with us because they have a new school down there. So he got the other $25,000 too. So we wound up coming away with $200,000 for Phase 3 of Kip Avenue. One more thing. We had 3 applications on the planning board last week. It's very slow. All were approved right away. I think the whole meeting took 13 minutes. All were approved. The one that I found most interesting was a knife sharpener. He's coming in on Market Street. He owns the knives. He does commercial shop for restaurants, Patterson, all the area. He owns the knives. He keeps them sharp, brings them to the restaurants, picks up the dull knives that they have, brings them back to his shop, sharpens them up, and I guess he puts them back in stock. Closes the store up when he goes out to deliver and pick up. He's there by himself. As far as I was concerned, it's like the perfect kind of application for Market Street. Guy comes with one car, and it's the type of business that sounds like it's going to be there for a while. He's got regular customers right in the area, so it seems like a good one. Perfect fit for Market Street. That's about it, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Castiglia indicated it didn't take long to go over those applications for the planning board. Please keep in mind that we have a work session the Wednesday before the public meeting.
Which lasts hours.
And that goes on. Mr. Vocino was on that board, Mr. Work was on that board at one time. A lot of the details are reviewed at that work meeting, so that when they come in at the public meeting, it really doesn't take that much that's time for an application that's one man sharpening knives moving into a store. But it doesn't take only 13 minutes to go over some of these things. Mr. Work?
Yes, just an update with the Elmwood Park Board of Health. They are still offering the 3 free clinics. The first one is the H1N1 free vaccination clinics. Not just go over the upcoming dates. Their next clinic for that is April 5th, 2010, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. That is in the courtroom. And they're also hosting the adult consultation clinic, and that's the adult health consultation with the registered nurse from Hackensack Hospital in a private clinic room in the municipal building. Free blood pressure screening and confidential health information is available for adults from 18 years and older. Basically, it's a walk-in, no appointment needed. And the next one for that clinic is May 18th, 2010, from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And the next clinic is the Child Health Clinic, and these are free immunizations for infants up to 18 years old. Residents of Elmwood Park, pediatrician and registered nurse are on site. And this is for the well children without the health insurance coverage and those not enrolled in New Jersey Family Care. And this is by appointment only. You got to call area code 201-996-2038. And next date for those clinics is April 1st, 2010, 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Thursday. And then on April 5th, 2010, 5:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Monday. The health department is also hosting a blood screening clinic, and this will be held on April 13th at the municipal building. The tests will include factors such as cholesterol, triglycerides, complete blood count, and blood sugars. The screening also will include high and low density lipids and important heart rate factors. There is a fee for this. The fee for it is $25. Basic is for men 40 years age and older. The advanced registration payment is required. Registration is being held in the Health Department office in the municipal building beginning March 22nd. And for more information, you can call 201-796-1072. And just one added thing, I know Rich covers the fire department. Just wanted to highlight something. They are having a free coin toss event. I believe it's on Route 4.
I think it's Route 4.
It's on Saturday, April 3rd. It's not just coming Saturday, following Saturday, but if you see them out there, tossing a couple of, they're always looking, volunteers always looking for an extra $1 to help them out, especially in these times when the budgets are really tight. And that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Work. Mr. Conboy?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start off with the funner part of my report for the evening. Updates on the Recreation Center. For the folks that are here and those that will catch us on TV, hopefully effectively April 1st, we are going to have, you've heard me spoken about this a little bit in the past, we're going to start having online registration for all of our upcoming activities, sports activities, soccer, basketball, wrestling, the activities that we handle, arts and crafts, what other activities we have, cheerleading clinics. We hope to make this as a convenience to the residents. It's going to have a feature where you can also pay by credit card. We do have a lot of folks who rather pay by credit card or by debit card instead of having to come in with a certified check or have to pay cash. It make it a lot easier. The form could be filled out. So that will go live, I believe, October 1st. The rec is, all the personnel is going to be going through training on that. It will also help the office staff focus on other activities and hope to speed your process as you go in and out. We're also going to be setting up at the rec center for those who may not have internet access. There's going to be 2 computer terminals set up so that a resident can jump in, or mom and dad during lunch can jump into the rec center, get right at the computer, maybe need a little assistance if they need so to navigate around, but there'll be 2 terminals designated just for them to come in and get their registration and get them in and out and back to work and back to their families. Some other things that are going on at the rec center, a couple of things. Saturday, March 27th is going to be the annual egg hunt. The camera guy has always asked that I hold this up a little bit more. So there'll be an egg hunt. This is in your child's backpack. Please make sure it's a nice little morning out, and please come out and enjoy that morning. That's on the 27th, 10 p.m. sharp. Also, something...
10 a.m. 10 a.m.
You said PM, Tom.
Oh, did I say p.m.? I wanted to get all the eggs. That was this year we're putting chocolate in there, so I thought I'd feed everybody too.
No comment.
Maybe the mayor will tell me where he hides them. Also, something new at the rec center, they're going to try a weekly bowling program, which is going to be starting on March 30th. Again, this was a home in your backpacks, available at the center. Something new, hopefully a lot of children will take advantage of it. It is going to be, I believe, a 10-week program, a 12-week session. So something else for our children to do right here in town at Parkway Lanes. It's a great thing. The owner of Parkway Lanes, Marty, is working with everybody so we can come out and enjoy it. They've done a fantastic over there at Parkway Lanes, a fantastic job. Always looking to upgrade. Something else that is in the backpack that's gone home, starting April 10th, will be the 8-week course for grades 3 to 8 on our tennis program. Another great program that they offer over there. A lot of folks take advantage of it. We use the tennis courts over at the high school, so another great thing to your youth, to your children to get involved in. Okay, going on to something that everybody's concerned about, all of us here and everybody out through the state, our budget, our finance. As finance chairman and as a member of this council, we've all worked very hard over these, this majority has worked very hard to do whatever we possibly can with our finances as we move along. We've done things to help our budget regarding our trash and recycling. They've all under our new contracts. They all have cost savings in it for us. We're constantly looking at everything we do here, all costs of business, inside the box, outside the box, off the page. We look at all avenues of how we can change things and how we could try to reduce costs. You've heard Councilman Vancino talk repeatedly about what he's been doing with the energy and how we're trying to reduce our energy bills, take advantage of a lot of services that the PSE&G is going to be offering. Shortly, they're going to be replacing all light bulbs and everything else within the borough at 80% on their cost, which will have a cost for us down the road financially in our energy saving measures that we're trying to do there. The mayor has worked tirelessly with the DOT to try to get us finally moving on the park and ride. You've heard him go back and forth on that. That could be a revenue generating area, and we hope that will happen soon. That would help the borough in those regards with our trying to hold down our taxes. Councilman Chewinski mentioned tonight we're currently revisiting our current phone system here. Not that we're looking to spend money, but the cost measure is to look at trying to save money. We're looking at all the options to help reduce our phone costs here at within the borough. So we are certainly looking at all avenues. recently, and you've heard the mayor talk about it, mayor and council, it was in the newspaper not too long ago, we worked with our police chief and ways to have future savings down the road regarding staffing issues. And I applaud them all again. Everybody worked very hard on that and worked close together. It was an easy process. So in the past, in the last 2 years, since we've all been here, we've also tried to, where staff had changed, we have not filled positions. We've asked our personnel here to step up, and they all have, whether it's DPW, here in the office, and any other parts of our municipality. They've all stepped up where they can. Last year, we had, I believe, just one layoff, and we did that due to the cost of lack of business within a particular department. So as I recap all this, folks, it's just a continuation of what we've been doing here. And one thing that really infuriates me, and I'm trying to wrap up here, but this municipality, under the mayor's guidance, when it comes to budgets for decades now here, have worked very hard to always keep us in the right place. We've always been ahead of the curve with making financial decision process and so forth. And over the last few years since I've been here, from the state level, they've put restrictions on, major used surplus that was precious to us, not that we had much of it anyway, things that are in cap, outside cap, bring it back into the cap. It's just very heartening for us. We're going through this process. It's going to be a tough process. We're all waiting for the hard numbers to come out from the governor's office. And all I can say is that we're going to continue to try to do the best job possible to do whatever we can to hold down whatever increase in taxes it is. It's the most smallest portion we possibly can do. And what can I say? If you've been reading the paper as well, our own school system. Last year, this year their aid is being cut almost 48%. I think it's 1.6 million, down from what 3.8, something like that. So, where we're going to come up with that difference, it's going to be tough, folks. But we are working very hard on it. And actually tonight we have another meeting with our CFO after this meeting is over. So. Just keep praying for everybody and praying home with us. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Boncino?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I guess I'm going to start off with a clarification. Last couple of meetings, I had announced a fundraiser for the ambulance corps, a comedy night beefsteak. The date and the venue has changed. It is now May 8th at the VFW Hall on Veterans Place, and it'll be at 7:30 p.m. Again, it's a comedy night and beefsteak, so I appreciate everybody coming out to support the ambulance corps. And tonight, we were copied on a memo from Officer Myers. Officer Myers attended a Bergen County Police Traffic Officers Association meeting yesterday, and he brought to their attention the intersection of River Road and River Drive. And we've had quite a number of automobile accidents at that intersection. Had to replace the guardrails a number of times. In fact, I think we replaced the guardrail within a week and a half. It was damaged again. But the county's aware of it, and we'll probably talk about it at our work meeting, but I think the county is open to looking at that intersection, and there's some non-slip surfaces.
Yeah, it's a red macadam of some sort. I've seen it in other areas.
And I think we have to put a request into our borough engineer, and the county will come down and look.
We'll do it now.
And do it. And just another point on the police PBA, they're considering a youth program. I'll probably work with the PBA and Chief Ingrassalino to maybe structure something for the youth in the community to introduce them to the police department, potentially for youngsters who are considering a career, and to find out more about what the department does. So we'll kind of work with that through the next couple of months, see if we can define something. And that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Engineer? Any report?
Engineer.
Attorney, I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
I'm sorry. Just a few things, as we say. I received a phone call from Congressman Rothman. He was concerned about an article that was in our local paper, the Community News. There was a retraction in the paper that he just wanted me to go over. The retraction is a correction in an article last week on the Route 80 sound barriers. in Elmwood Park. A quote was incorrectly attributed to someone in Congressman Rothman's office. No one from the Congressman's office commented on that issue, so I promised the Congressman I would read that. It was mentioned about a meeting that we had in Bergen County with the acting commissioner, Mr. Simpson. Mr. Chewinski indicated he was there also. It was in the afternoon. We brought up the sound barriers. I will continue to bring up the sound barriers at every meeting if possible so that they know we're not forgetting about it. I don't know where we're going with it. They just about told us they had some other priorities on the sound barriers, but we're going to continue doing that. I did mention the park and ride, as was indicated this evening. The park and ride down here, just off River Road, in the front of Locust Street. If we can ever get that moving, we will have enough cars parked there from out of town, from in town, that will bring us a substantial source of revenue into the community. This council has indicated that we would take on the responsibility of putting a park and ride there, even though a lot of other communities would come in and park there, but it would take cars off the road so they can get into New York City by bus. So that's something we're looking forward to having, and I hope people aren't within the borough, various departments saying, listen, we may get a couple $100,000 out of that, let's see how we can spend it. Just as an example, we have along River Road by the DPW building a plot of land there owned by Bernie Langen. He came in with a proposal, maybe 12 to 14 years, saying how much is coming in, how many $1 million worth of ratables was coming in. We met with the police department and the arbitrator that year. They brought out his program, his pamphlet, his portfolio indicating what's planning to be built, and the arbitrator gave him 9%. And it hasn't been built yet. So he was spending, our arbitrator, more money. We never built it, but we're still spending it, and the police benefited by that. I have to commend them for bringing it in. I have to degrade the arbitrator for going along with it. One of the things we passed last week, a resolution we passed, some difference of opinion and improving on the arbitration system, and one of the things on that was that all arbitrators have to come from New Jersey. This gentleman came from New York State. He's the strongest man in Elmwood Park. He gives out the biggest raises, and then he disappears. And it's just not fair. I'd like to say that because this council was not involved in that, but all previous councils were, and he comes up with a final decision, and we're stuck with it. And that takes care of the sound barriers. The storm Mr. Castiglia mentioned, he did mention that he was out there, and I did stop in the police department that night, and a couple of the police officers were there, and they told me that Mr. Castiglia, Councilman Castiglia, was out in that heavy rainstorm with his slicker on and trying to help out, and they were just so proud of him going out there and helping, and he really was wet. I said, wait a minute, guys. Councilman Castiglia is a Marine Vietnam combat veteran. It was like going for a Sunday walk with him. No one was shooting at him. He put on a few years and a few pounds, but no one was shooting at him. So I'm sure that what he was doing was just something that, you have to do it. So it's good. We have another Marine sitting out here, and a Marine is never a former Marine. A Marine is what, Larry?
Marine.
A Marine, forever. That's pounded into my head by my brother who was in the Marines. I was in the sergeant, in the Army, and I never made it to the Marines, and I never lived it down. The other items we have here is on the budget. We're going to be meeting with the salary negotiations for our white-collar workers, DPW, and we're going to try to get involved with the police budget, police salaries, see if we can spread them out. They all due in the same year. We're going to fix it so that we have a year separating so we can work on that. So that's an important item. Councilman Conboy mentioned about the things that the state tells us we have to do, and I didn't see that in Governor Christie's address about doing something with the state mandate, state pay. They mandate something and we pay. If they mandate it, Let them pay for it, let them find the money. I didn't see any of that in his address. Again, Mr. Convoy is correct, we've been a very frugal town, we've eliminated a lot of things, kept taxes down, kept employment down, and the number of people we have working, and it's still very difficult because we're getting bare bones. We used to have some money, I don't want to use the word stashed away, but we always kept some money for surplus so that the next year or the next 2 years we can dip into the surplus and keep our taxes as fairly level, not going up and down, up and down. Well, they've taken that away, now we have to use it. So that we're subject to the whims of the economy about how much we can spend and how the taxes are going up. I think it's a good idea to put this non-skid business at River Road and River Drive. I've seen them in other areas in Bergen County. It's a red type of macadam, supposed to help you if you're skidding. I've mentioned it to the county a few times. I said, you can keep putting those guardrails up, they'll keep knocking them down, and well, maybe if we complain long enough, that'll happen. I failed to do this in the beginning of the meeting. It's our waste watches. You should all have it. Please read it. Tells you about recycling, tells you about your garbage collections, the garbage, the yard waste, you can put that right in your trash. They'll take it. Something new, I don't even know if it's in here. I think we did that after this was produced. But we're still getting people calling, I didn't get my waste watches. It was delivered 2 months ago. If you didn't get it, call my office, we'll get another one out to you. Okay, but read this. It's very informative and should help us all with that information. I think that's about have it. Just one item. I just want to remind the council and the various departments. There's something that I'm going to mention quite often: unintended consequences. When you do something, there may be consequences that sometimes we don't even think about. About 8 years ago, we added new brass to our police department. And the quotes in the paper at that time, it's not going to cost us much money to do all this. Through the council and Mr. Boncino's leadership, we've done a new table of organization. We've eliminated 5 top positions, deputy chief, lieutenants, and sergeants. When they retire, they will not be replaced. The number is amazing. It's $800,000 plus benefits for those 5 people. So, it doesn't sound like much when you're starting, but it builds up in a hurry, $800,000, and that will come in the future, and I'm afraid that it may be a longer time than we anticipate because we have a young force. We have a young force, and quite frankly, those who are in a position maybe to retire in 2 or 3 years or sooner aren't taking that because the economy is so bad. If they leave here, they may want a second job. They can't find it anymore, so they're better off staying here. And I understand that. Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to open it to the public at this time. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard, please come to the microphone. Give us your name and address.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Lois Grossi, and I live at 397 Dye Avenue. I'm not going to complain too much tonight because it's just an ongoing thing. First of all, I want to thank John and Charlie for coming to our house and looking at the roof at 399. They've gone into a nightmare with that, but I'll leave it at that. Also, for looking at the gas pipe in the wall, we still have major concerns about that because they're constantly going back there. The issues with the neighbors are not changing. It's going to be an ongoing thing. February 18th.
Excuse me, may I interrupt you? You said John and Charlie, our building department went there?
They went and looked at the roof, and we thanked them for that. So
And the pipe is still there?
The pipe is still there.
Did they say it has to come out?
No, they're a little iffy about it. It's kind of hard to decide. You have to talk to Charlie and John about
Okay.
that. February 18th, Mr. Leader, my husband, made a statement to you about this issue festering. It's past the festering stage. It's starting to ooze now. And before the summer, I'm really afraid that something's going to happen. So please don't forget about us on Dye Avenue. We're desperate right now. The issues are not changing. They're getting worse. So, thank you.
Thank you. I know there was a police report of an incident there not too long ago, last week, I think it was.
Yes, there was.
And,
Mr. Leader will talk to you about that.
Yeah, and the police are on that. We have to talk to our borough attorney to see what our police chief has done. I know they've spoken about it. Some of it, I'm not looking to pass the buck. Some of it is not under our jurisdiction.
We understand.
And we'd like to help you out in any way we can. And we'll again have the police chief and our borough attorney go over that with us.
Thank you. We'll be in court on Tuesday with them, Mr. Mayor.
In Tuesday?
Yes,
On
this
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Thank you,
Yeah.
that's good.
Municipal
No,
court?
it's not good, this court.
No, I don't mean it's good.
not
I mean,
good.
you're coming to, hopefully, a resolution of the problem.
Very iffy.
Okay.
Very iffy.
And I do want you to know that there are 2 other incidents, or 3 other incidences where they're going for arbitration in the back here with other residents and their neighbors. So it's not only you, it's we...
I understand, and Mr. Mayor, you have to look back. My husband and I have been in Elmwood Park for almost 28 years.
Oh, I understand that.
No, this started almost 20-some years ago with
Yep.
them. At that point, this person wanted to be a police officer in this town, so...
I'm well aware.
Thank you.
Hello, I promise I'm not going to be long tonight. Just to continue with what,
Your name and address.
I'm sorry, Jeff Leader, 34 Stone Ave.
Thank you.
Just to continue what Mrs. Grossi was just saying, remember last time I was here, I said this whole thing is festering, and sooner or later, somebody's going to be responsible. I said it's either going to be the council, the police department, or myself. Well, like she just says, it's oozing. What just transpired, and you're probably all saying, oh, this is getting crazy. I'm getting sick of him coming here. It's pain in the neck. Well, now you understand me. 2 weeks ago, 5:10, my wife's in the kitchen making dinner. My son and I are in the living room with our backs to the outside, watching television. My dogs are barking. Every dog barks. You don't pay attention. All of a sudden, my 3-year-old gets off the couch. He looks out the window. He goes, Daddy, Daddy, look! He does exactly what I did. I turned around and I said, holy, and I'm not going to say what I said. She's standing in front of my driveway, her car in the middle of the road, taking pictures of my house, my yard, and God even knows if she was taking pictures of the back of my head or my children that were sitting on the couch. Getting back to the losing thing, now she's starting to get brazen. Not only is she calling the police from the confines of her own window or behind a fence or a shrub, but now she's coming on my block in front of my house. Now that all goes back to the 3-year-old raising the children and stuff. There's no way they should be brought up. Well, my wife goes outside. She's not on my property, I want to get it clear. She wasn't on my property. She's standing right in front of my driveway. A little uncomfortable for us. My wife goes on her front porch as I'm going out. My 3-year-old starts crying. There's chaos. My wife says to her, can I help you? And she went ballistic. In a nutshell, she was screaming so much and so loud, the neighborhood comes out. Now it's not just a couple of neighbors, now it's all of Stone Avenue. Because mind you, the weather's getting nicer out. Another neighbor on the street's raking his leaves. He has his 2 little daughters outside. He comes over. Ma'am, what's going on? She's blocking traffic, okay? She gets back into her car, drives up maybe 10 feet, slams on the brake, gets back out, starts screaming, throwing the profanity around. All the neighbors are on the front porch watching this, and my wife and I are on our lawn listening to her. Obviously, we're defending ourselves. All of a sudden, I call the police. As I'm calling the police, there's a police officer by Mr. Grossi's house. He hears the screaming going on Stone Avenue. He calls for backup. As he's calling for backup, I'm on the phone with this dispatcher. Now, the dispatcher's going like this, okay? So she's like, get him over there. There was approximately between 6 and 9 police that showed up at my house on Stone Avenue and Dye Avenue, okay? Meanwhile, while I'm on the street Stone Avenue with a bunch of officers, there's one on Dye Avenue with Mr. Grossi taking his report. There's another witness that everybody knows about that he was in she was in her backyard watching it. Her husband's in the backyard. He reaches over the fence and he starts grabbing my shrubs and shaking my bushes on my property line. Okay? It's starting to grow.
Was anybody arrested? Were there any summonses given out?
Well, I'm getting to that. Okay? Yeah, I'm getting to
Never
it.
started
It's
speaking.
comical. I agree with you. You know what the problem? I would laugh like
Never
you
start a
too.
speech saying, I'm going to be brief, and you say, I'm getting
Well,
to
yeah,
that.
well, you know what? I could be brief if somebody would go ahead and take care of it. Then I wouldn't be here.
Well, the cops were there, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to propose to you right now. Your eyebrows are going to really raise.
Okay.
So now I just set the whole scene. Okay. She gets back in her car, now she pulls on the wrong side of the road. She's out of her car again, she's walking towards my property. Now I'm getting nervous, she's coming towards me. I backed up. I'm not going to get involved with this woman. Okay, now the police come. The first thing she says, she goes, "And here comes your effing friends." And the police come, they get out of the car, they're trying to calm the situation, all right? This is where you say about summons and stuff. Cop says, I'm not going to mention names, he says, "Is this your car?" "Yeah, it's my car." "Well, you're on the wrong side of the street." "Okay, that's all right." Well, now she's in the middle of the road, there's traffic. There's taxpayers on Stone Avenue besides myself that will come if you need to hear them here. We're all standing here listening. She starts arguing with the cop in the street, swearing at the police officer, okay? Refusing to get back into her car that's parked on the wrong side of the street to alleviate the problem that's happening on Stone Avenue. Not just with my children banging on the door, crying. Now, my 3-year-old, but I got these little girls outside. You know what the cop said? This is where your eyebrows are going to raise. After it's all said and done, and they left, she left, because her husband came around the corner stomping down Stone Avenue, and then he started. But I could go on and on, but you know what the officer said after it was all said when she was done? We said, now, mind you, it's just not me, my family, or her family, or my dad who lives across the street. It's like maybe 5 or 6 other taxpayers surrounding on Stone Avenue. The officer says, "Well, you know," we said, "why didn't you give her a summons? Why didn't you get arrested for disorderly conduct? She's in the middle of the road swearing at you. She's stopping traffic. Look what she's creating." "Well, you know, it's a shift change. And, you know, all the paperwork we're going to have to go about and do, you know what, it's just not worth it. Everybody knows that lady's nuts." And I go home in an hour. That's what I heard.
Were there any other police officers there?
There was approximately between 6 and 9. I don't know how many, they're running all over the place, including there were some that were the
Well, Mr.
officers in charge.
Mr. Kazmark, I would defer to Mr. Vocino, but I'd like to get an answer tomorrow. Would you check with our police department?
And you know what, I ain't...
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There should be a report on that and find out who the police officers were and if in fact this is the, what transpired.
Through you, Mayor. Mr. Leader, do you have a date on this event?
That just, last Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, that's...
So you file them by day, that's why I asked.
Okay, we'll
I mean, the police officer on Guy Avenue heard just screaming as she was screaming, you know.
We'll double check on
But you know what it is it goes back, 'cause I've been in this town for a long time, and I like everybody. I like this town, I told you that. But I don't want to send anybody down the river, and I don't even need to be here. This is, I'd rather be home with my kids. But you know what it is? It's not about trying to step on people's toes or be one of those crazy people in Elk Park that come here and bother you guys. So I know you got more important things to worry about. But it's about my children. And even though I respect everybody here, the police department, the fire department, the DPW, and on and on and on, I got to do this for 2 people, and that's it. It's for those 2 little kids. Okay? That my son can't even sit in the living room and we watch something, a door or whatever you're watching on television, that he stands up and turns around and, Daddy, look! Out the window. That's no way. I know we all got kids, every one of us up here. I know you even have grandchildren, You've got to put yourself in my perspective. Please put yourself in my perspective. I'm hoping I don't have to come here anymore.
We've gone over this. We know where we have to go. You know where you have to go. One of the concerns I have is if you're correct that they didn't want to give out a ticket because it was near shift change, we want to check on that, see who the officer is and why that was done, and whether the other officers corroborate that.
And if you need me to, so it doesn't look like I'm fabricating it, the other residents that were outside at the time will come here and tell you their
That
same
may
story.
be, I don't want them at a council meeting, but maybe the police chief wants them downstairs.
That's fine. They're willing to do it. They told me that.
We'll double check on
So
that.
just check into it, and I apologize that I have to come before you people to do this. I'm sorry, but
Okay.
I have to do what I got to do.
Well, there should have been something. If he's on the wrong side of the road, that alone would give her a ticket.
Absolutely.
Not even that. I mean, swearing. I mean, Jesus.
Okay?
Yeah, I appreciate it, okay? And once again, I apologize, and hopefully everybody will enjoy the nice warm weather we're having. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard? If not, I'll close the public portion of the meeting, and
Mayor, at this time, if I may, we're going to adjourn to a work session to be held in the conference room for discussion of the 2010 preliminary budget.
thank you. Did everybody get that? Okay, we run it everybody who wants to be involved can look at that. I do want to comment again, Mr. Conboy made it abundantly clear, we're trying to do whatever we can to hold the budget down according to state guidelines, and one of the things that we're being hurt is we've been frugal in the past, and we're just about bare bones now, and I think we've lost about 6 people through replacement, not replacing them, or people who've left just up here in this building alone. So we can just do so much, but we're trying to do what we can. State's got to help us, not give us projects that we don't need and have them foisted on us. So we're doing what's best. Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Mr. Boncino and Mr. Conboy, discussion, all in favor? Opposed, so ordered. Excuse me, guys.